Welcome to the Gradual Grind. I'm Evan Anderson,
I'm Jonathan Marcel.
and we're here to talk to y'all about a few different things. We kind of broke this down today. What we're here to do is we really want to educate and inspire others. We're both kind of very average, I would say, as far as where we're at. 23 years old, both got jobs, and so we really want to educate on financial responsibility, and also to kind of inspire y'all to chase your dreams. And that's what we're doing. We're documenting our journey into what we want to accomplish. For us both, it's kind of some sort of independence where we can self-supply. So that's what we're here. And this week we're going to talk about finding good counsel, the people around you.
Changing your environment if necessary.
100%. But before we do that, we always do a weekly update. And the episode before this, we talked about our New Year's resolutions, and my man had a whole lot going on. So just want to ask you, like, how's that going? You talking about waking up early, meditating, getting all this stuff in. How's it going, man?
Gradually.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But no, it's going slow. I mean, I'm taking my time with it, right? I'm not going to shock my system. So I have been waking up earlier, and I've had my little morning routine to get into work.
Yeah.
I've, like I said, used the blue light glasses, try to do things to keep my energy up throughout the day while I'm working. So by the time I'm off, I don't feel groggish and exhausted. I haven't started my practices yet, but I have been training. And so I've pushed those trainings a little further back, so I have more time in between for myself. So I'm not rushing from one thing to the other. But things are going well, man. I mean, I've made some already decent moves to what I want to accomplish.
Tell them.
Yeah, so I decided as a program I was gonna raise my prices just because my time is limited, and I was able to successfully do that without having to feel guilty or justify myself. Everyone's pretty much accepted that, which is awesome. Because it was a struggle, getting everyone into the right time slot. I've been looking into a property, so I went to go tour 2 condos yesterday, and no, I'm not talking about like some $500,000 condo. It's a nice condo in a decent part of town here in Houston that I'm hoping to probably purchase around March or April, just so I have something to my name and I can start putting equity into and leverage in the future. Went to the mall, had some fun with my girl. We shopped a little bit. I had to buy some new basketball shoes, some new running shoes, and shit is expensive nowadays, but I think it was well worth it. Got this close to buying a Tesla, but gotta
reality came back.
Reality check real quick before I put myself in a bad spot. But yeah, man, I got an electric scooter yesterday.
Oh, this man just be out.
That was my Christmas gift from my girl. And
if y'all watch this man spends money.
Nah, I didn't buy that. I got that as a gift, but I will be acting the fool.
I feel that, bro.
But how about your week, man? What have you been up to? I know you have some big moves planned in the future, actually near future, coming soon. So curious to hear how that's going.
Really nothing like crazy, to be honest. Just working, and I have the possibility of bringing on a business partner next week. I have a meeting set up, so I'm excited about that. Been kind of getting my what do they call them, cross your T's and dot your I's, trying to get all that together, all my information, and just go into it confident, because it's bigger than just like what we're starting. I have a vision in mind, so just gonna feel it out. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, and that's kind of where all my focus has been outside of work and just spending time with my family, just trying to get that right, because that's gonna set up the rest of 2020. And so I'm
you mean 2021?
2021. Sorry.
Yeah. And before we continue, real quick, if you guys can do us a favor, please like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I know we have a small audience, but if you guys find any value in this, it would really help us out, just getting that interaction and understanding where we're at.
Yes, sir.
I think it's important to understand what Evan said earlier. We're trying to educate and inspire, but it's a path in our journey, right? It's understanding the things that we're learning as we go, and we're trying to share that information with you all. It might not be 100% accurate. Let's get it, right? We're constantly evolving, constantly learning, but we're trying to make sure these topics and these concepts are in your mind. So if you're trying to achieve things and, progress in life, that you can start thinking about them as well.
Yeah, the reason we're doing this, because like we're the type of people that we're constantly researching on things that we want to achieve and stuff, and And we kind of always hit these roadblocks of like, people will tell you the stuff that sounds good, but they won't really give you
the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the real details on how they did things. And so that's what we're doing. We're giving you the 100% transparent truth. And yeah, and if you can tell, these episodes are aired weekly. So like we're on episode 15. It's been a few months, and we're talking about minimal progress. This is why it's not minimal progress. There's a lot of progress being made, but it's slow. It's
not evident right away.
Yeah. So that's why it's the gradual grind. But anyways, let's get right into this topic, bro, because I brought this to you earlier this week. Finding good counsel, bro.
So explain to people what that means first, because I think this could be misconstrued.
Yeah. So when you are in an environment, right, and this is literally, this applies to everything in life. For me, everything always goes back to basketball, though, right? And so you're hanging around your group of friends, or whoever you see on a consistent basis, and you are being told by these people around you how good you are, or you're being told the same thing over and over again, and it almost becomes groupthink. It almost becomes detrimental, because you're always being told the same thing, how nice you are, how good you are, when you're not getting any outside perspective from someone who actually has a better view of what's going on,
a broad exposure.
Exactly. And so the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like I've seen so many people's downfalls due to this. Like, I've seen people stuck in the same space for 5, almost coming up on 10 years now, like they're in the same spot that they've always been. And it's a wake-up call. Like, I would never disrespect somebody and say like, you know what I'm saying? But if you can recognize it in you, I've recognized it in the people I've been around, like I can see that, and I've purposely tried to avoid it. And so I just want to talk about the detrimental effects, as well as the positive that it can it can lead to. There's a good quote, and it is that your exposure will be your success level. Or the level of your exposure will be the level of your success. And it's so true. Both of us come from not super small. You came from El Paso. I came from a super small city.
Not big, but it's a decent size.
But yeah, and it's so common. Like, anybody who's ever done anything, I can even like already see this with me and my daughter. Like I just want, she's the best at everything in my eyes, right? You're around your family, and it's like, look at how good our kid is, right? And so
look at that drool run down her face. That's number 1 grade A drool down that face.
Hold on, this is an aside, but my daughter, we took her for her 6-month checkup. Hey, my daughter gonna be in the post WNBA. You hear me? Look,
95 percentile.
95th percentile. That's a big old baby right there.
Big body.
But yeah. So like so let's go back to like the family, right? Your family, you're always gonna be great in their eyes, but it's gonna hurt you by listening to them. You like, not saying like you are good, like you can still be good, but you need to come back down to earth, like your family's always going to tell you, oh, my cousin's so great, my grandson is so great, he's the best on his team, da 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 da. If you listen to that, you're always just going to be the best on that team. You're going to be the best in that family, right? And that's what I like to call the king of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is never, you're going to rule over nothing, and you'll never grow.
I have a good quote. I just had to look up the comedian's name, but there's a comedian named Dion Cole, and you probably know him. He's on the Old Spice commercials. But I was watching his Netflix special not too long ago, probably during the winter break, with my sister. And there's a point in time where he's like, you parents have to stop telling your kids they're great.
Yeah.
Because little Bobby grows up thinking they're great.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go in the world, and then we let him know that he fucking sucks. And then he's depressed and crying because he was never told that he sucks, right? And I think it's so accurate because you have all these parents, and not only parents, but friends and family that hype these people up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because they don't know any better either,
mm-hmm.
right? And I see this all the time as a coach. You have this mom or dad that think that their kid is fantastic,
and there's
right?
nothing
he's amazing
wrong with that though. Like, there's nothing wrong with telling your kid they're great, right?
But be realistic, right? Because now this kid thinks he's cold, and then he gets we put him in a simple 5-on-5 game. I'm not saying my kids are amazing, but they're decent, right? They're very real skilled and disciplined.
Yeah.
And my kids tear that kid up, right? Now the kid has confidence issues. He doesn't want to play anymore because he doesn't feel like he can keep up. And these parents are upset because now the kid doesn't feel like he can play. Whose fault is that, right?
Yeah.
As a parent, you should build confidence in your kids. And I'm not saying I'm not a dad, right? I'm not a kid. I'm not a dad. I'm not a parent. But as a mentor figure in kids' lives, you should build confidence in them, letting them know that they can do whatever they put their mind to, they can achieve.
Yeah.
But be realistic with their progress.
100%, right? Bro. Like, anything they want is achievable. I 100% agree with you, right? Like, let them know that is possible. But where I see like the detrimental effect is when I'm telling you you're so great, right? And then somebody else tells you something, and I'm like, no, don't listen to that. Like, you're this great. Like, you're better than them. They just don't want to hear it. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to worry about using your left hand. Like, we worked on our way around it. Like, you are hurting them. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah,
And
man.
I feel like
it sucks.
Negativity is necessary. Like, you need someone to tell you you suck. You need somebody to tell you suck. 100%.
But I don't think, I don't think you need I agree. I think you need someone that's going to be real with you, right? In your friend group, in your family, in your coaches, in your mentors, someone needs to tell you where you're fucking up on, right?
Yeah.
That's why, as a coach, I feel like it's my responsibility to be real with these kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them, like, all right, you want to go to the NBA. Cool, right? But because of that, you're slacking in school. So let's look at the statistics. You're going to be maybe 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
Great. The average height in the NBA is 6'4".
Yeah.
Think about that, right? Let's be real. You are not black in ethnicity. You're not very athletic.
Yeah.
Right there, right? And even right now, in the 8th grade or 7th grade, whatever you are, right? You're not being ranked, or you're not being prospected like a lot of these other kids, right? Let's look at the realistic expectations here. I'm not saying you can't do it. You're going to have to work really hard if you want to do it.
Yep.
But let's not put all your eggs in one basket and let other things that are important slide because you think that's what you want.
Bro, but also, so like, I like that, right? But then you can also get around a bunch of people where, it almost becomes negative.
Yeah.
And so when you have too many people, this is about finding good counsel, right? So it's not just about, finding realistic counsel. It's not about finding negative counsel. It's about finding good counsel, someone who is looking out for your best interest. And so, like I said, there's a point where you can get around people who are all negative. They're all going to tell you you're bad. They're all going to tell you
drain your energy.
You can't do this. You can't do that. Right? You'll never be this. If someone ever tells you you'll never do something, stop listening right now, because I don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not good counsel. So this is all about navigating to find good counsel. And I heard something good earlier this week, and it was judge somebody by their motives. Not judge somebody, but judge somebody's advice by their motives, right? And so you have to look at, what is this person telling you this for, right? Like, how does this affect them? How do they see this affecting you? And, what is their vision for you in their life? Because usually that's when you're going to get that kind of advice, is when it's affecting their life.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but let's be real though, finding good counsel is difficult.
It's very hard.
Because you feel like you'll have people in your corner who are trying to hype you up and give you advice, but in the end, you see that they're objective is a lot more nefarious than first thought.
Yeah,
and people switch on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
They might be in your corner 1 second, and then as soon as they don't get what they want, they might flip switch, right? They might,
Mm-hmm.
might switch the what the fuck I'm trying to say? Might flip the switch. There we go.
Right. But that's why I feel like it's so easy for someone to fall into that detrimental trap of, oh, my pops said this though. You know what I'm saying? Like, my pops is telling me this. My pops has good motives. You know, like, he has good motives. Like, there's no reason that he would ever want to see me fail. And I agree, like, he doesn't want to see you fail, right? But he is kind of blind. He's in this tunnel. You know what I'm saying? He's not seeing the entire picture. And so now let's bring this back. So we've been talking about basketball this whole time. So now let's bring it back to like something like our situation. So we are young, 23-year-olds, minorities, right? And we are trying to start a business, trying to start something, do something that,
fulfills our potential.
Right.
Term I've been using.
And so I like to think big all the time. And I think super big, right? And I remember I told my family member something, and I was like, oh yeah, just wait, I'm about to do this. And they were like, oh, what are you gonna do that's gonna like make you so rich? Right. And I'm like, well, I've been doing this research, I've been doing this, right? And so they weren't hating on me, right? But like, this was their reality. For so long, they've been doing X, Y, and Z, and it's kept them not in the same place, but what my dream was out of their possible perception, right? And so in that moment, I realized, okay, I can't count on your advice for this situation anymore.
Yeah.
You don't want wrong for me, but I cannot count on you for this anymore. Instantly. Like, that was the first thing that went into my head, man. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree completely, because I've talked about this before. I've experienced this even with my own pops.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let's think about this. My dad does not want any ill will on me. He wants what's best for me. But he's lived a certain lifestyle. When I start talking about certain things, for him it's like, oh, well, be careful. I wouldn't do that. Don't chase don't chase the money. Like, oh, that's a big step. I would take it slow. Like, things that he feels like a really good advice because he wants me to be safe. But in what I'm trying to do is not the best advice. Right? Because he maybe he doesn't know the space. He doesn't understand it. Or maybe he feels like it's a big risk, not understanding that this big risk is necessary to achieve something. Right? And again, it's not that he wants any ill will, wants to hold me back. It's just that he might not know, right? He might not understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I know in certain points, he's not the right person to talk to.
Right.
On the other hand, though, I have my sister who's been exposed a little bit more since she lived in a different city. She lived in Austin, Texas, exposed to a lot of money. She understands some of those things, and she's very supportive on, okay, yeah, you got to do that, right? Just take the step. Or maybe I wouldn't do that because I've seen people have done this and it's not the best, right? So just seeing the different in mindset because of different exposures and comprehension shows you who you can go talk to about certain things.
So I'm not sure on this, but what you just said like kind of brought something to me. And there was something that you brought up in our last episode, and it was I don't know if it was a book you read, but it had 3 parts, and one of the parts was expansion.
Yeah. Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman.
Yeah. So what was
there's 3 parts there's 3 cycles in business according to his research: expansion, maintenance, and consolidation. Expansion is when you're trying to scale the business, scale operations, just grow it, right? Grow revenue, grow product, grow output, throughput, etc. Then there's maintenance. It's where you look at what you're doing and you clean up the processes. So yeah, you were growing, but while you were growing, you did something that was not the best idea to do. It's not as efficient. You clean that up, make it as efficient as possible. And this consolidation. After cleaning it up and having a clear picture of everything, you start removing, right, the parts that don't work and focus on the parts that do work. There's another book called the 80-20 rule, right? And there's a concept basically that 20% of your actions will make up for 80% of the productivity. And you want to really try to focus on that 20%.
Okay.
So that's what consolidation is working on.
Well, so like I like that. Like, I really agree with that concept. And what this like, what made me think of it is like, all I can remember is, I grew up in a small town. When I went to Houston, there was first time living somewhere else, right? Like I've been other
Yeah.
places, but I haven't lived somewhere else. I've played on the AAU circuit. I've seen all these different peoples. I thought I knew it all. But when I went to
Yep.
go live somewhere else, there was an expansion, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's a
Little.
lot, yeah, little. I feel so small. There's a lot more going on, and I
For
matter
some context,
I matter
right?
less in the equation.
Yeah, for some context, how big was Kenosha? How many
Kenosha is
people?
100,000 people.
So let's think about that. 100,000 people in Kenosha.
Mhm.
Houston, Texas is currently the third or fourth,
Mhm.
depending on the time of year.
Mhm.
It's, I don't know, but let's say fourth
Mhm.
largest city in the U.S. with a population of about like 5 million.
Yeah, but
Right?
the thing is,
like, think about that.
it's not even so like for those of y'all who know where Kenosha is, it's been in the news a lot lately because of everything going
Right?
on.
Yeah.
But it's between Milwaukee, which has 1 million people, and Chicago, which is like also the third or the fourth, biggest city. So like I know there's a lot of people out there, right? But my environment,
Did not represent
my
that.
yeah, my environment was 100,000 people, right? That's all that mattered in my life was 100,000 people. What my name meant in between those 100,000 people, that was what mattered to me. That was what my mind circulated, right? And I can't even explain to you the feeling I had. Like when I went to Houston, something switched in my mind, and I was like, wow, like this world is
Oh,
big, right? And everything I've said this on this show, everything I thought mattered did not matter one bit. Nothing in my life
yep.
mattered. And I was instant
That sounds kind of nihilistic. It's not that nothing in your life mattered. It's just what you thought was a priority ended up not being a priority.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, on the scale of like, mankind, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so it changed my perspective, right? And so instantly I started to see, because I've had people in my life who have like gone and moved away and came back or whatever, and like they'll say something and be like, oh, you'll understand one day, right?
Yep.
And so then I start to, thank God for social media, because I like everybody's still posting their thoughts. So I'll see controversy on Facebook or something, and I'll see the person who has been in Kenosha the whole, like never left Kenosha, and then I'll see the person who has kind of been all over, right? And I can literally see that difference in the perspective. I can literally see it, right? And even with some of my friends that I had grown up with, like my greatest wish for them is I want you to get out, not because Kenosha is a bad place. I want you to get out because it will change the way you live your life.
For sure, man.
And has nothing to do with the place, because I feel like this can happen anywhere in the United States, like anywhere in the United
That
States.
is a good point, man. I think so. To wrap this up in a quick concept, and I think something we talked about.
Yeah.
Leave your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's different to go vacation somewhere, right? Because I had the same
100%.
experience.
Yeah. Like,
once I started doing AAU and I started traveling a little bit, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like I get it.
mm-hmm.
But then from moving from El Paso, which is a fairly a mid-sized city, right? I think it's like 600,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
to Houston was a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I going to the fourth largest city in the US, but I'm moving from a primarily Hispanic community where everyone was Hispanic, they spoke Spanish or at least had some Hispanic blood in them, right? To one of the most diverse cities in the country, if not the most diverse city in the country, right? Now I'm seeing Asians, I'm seeing people from South America, I'm seeing people from up north, I'm seeing people from Europe, it was crazy. And not only am I seeing that, I'm seeing how all these different cultures interact. I'm seeing how much money was in the city, right? I used to think, like I told you, that 100K was rich.
Yeah, this is Marcel's
then I get to Houston.
This shit blew his mind.
Yeah, man. I'm being dead honest. Like I thought that was. And then I get here and all you see is Porsche, Lexus, Tesla. You see Lamborghini, you see Ferrari, you see these houses that are the size of neighborhoods. Like that blew my mind, bro. It was
Man.
insane.
And so like we're staying on the path of like finding good counsel, right? And so that we're talking about that expansion. So then after that expansion is maintenance, right? Like you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what did I used to know? Like what growing up that I've been taught that I've done my whole life, what if that is trash? Like
Yeah.
there's been some things that you have to look at yourself and say, I thought this was it and this is wrong. Like I'm wrong. You literally have to clean up your own mental space. Like you have to say, this is wrong. I was taught wrong,
Yeah, I think
right?
that the good word for that is, again, culture shock,
Yeah, I was
right?
misled, right? And then you know you this is funny because I got to so after I went to Houston, I went to another small city. I went to Bismarck, the capital of North Dakota, but again about 100,000 people.
Jeez.
And this is a little bit more remote though, right? And so they're even more kind of just like it's further away from big cities, so there's not as much diversity, not as much I don't know, just integration of culture. And so then I get to see people who have been there their entire lives, right? And again, they don't have the same perspective as me coming from another small city, right? But I can again notice a different way of life. So there's a type of expansion. There is an expansion, right? I'm experiencing an entire new way of life, but also I'm starting to see those fallacies again. I'm starting to see the things that they've been misled upon, right? Not that I'm right and they're wrong, but I've learned this same lesson before. I'm seeing it. I recognize this pattern. And so I can't even, man, I cannot even emphasize the importance, the value I've had on just being able to live in different places. Because now I've, oh man, I've moved. I don't know how many people have moved this much. Probably a lot of people, but I've moved so much. Like now, I've lived in Phoenix. I lived in Kansas City, and I found myself when I moved to Phoenix. I found myself starting to. I don't know what it was, but I found myself retrograding like back to that mindset, right? Like a small city mindset, right? Because there was things about Phoenix that were different. So I was like almost resisting the expansion,
Yeah.
and it took some time, but I've gotten it down now. And just being able to recognize that there's things different and that they're okay, and you're not always right, is so valuable, and it will help you finding good counsel. Like that's why I'm talking about this, because this has helped me find and recognize things that will help me and people who can't help me in specific situations.
Yeah, man, and I think that's a good point. And it doesn't you don't have to move a lot, right?
No,
You
no,
just need to
no.
have that one initial change of scenery,
Hmm.
right? And it could be from a big city to a small city. You
Hmm.
never know.
Hmm.
But just getting away from what you're comfortable in
Hmm.
is what you need to do. Because think about it.
Absolutely.
If you've lived in a small, like for me in El Paso, I grew up with some of the same people from elementary to high school,
Hmm.
right? I had a lot of friends, I would say, right? I had people that I could talk to. But when I moved to Houston, where I didn't know anybody, I had to start all over.
Hmm.
I had to make new friends. I had to make new connections.
Hmm.
I wanted to start a business. I had to find a way to establish myself as a name here.
Hmm.
And out of that was some of the most growth I can't even describe.
Hmm.
And I talk to this a lot with my family. It's hard sometimes because I'll go back to El Paso. Like I went back for winter break, and because I'm used to a certain lifestyle now, I go back and I try to talk to certain people I used to talk to, and it's different. We're at different places in our life. And it's not a bad thing, right? They might be focused on some things. I'm focused on something completely different, right? But it was all because I ended up moving from that environment somewhere else.
Hmm.
And let's be real, we've all seen it. We've seen people that have moved, and then like in a year or two, guess what? They're back home
Yeah.
because they either didn't like where they were depressed, they just couldn't adapt, or they just were too much in their comfort zone and had to move back to El Paso,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I've seen that too.
And guess what? It happens in big cities too. I see people that have grown up in Houston and they go to school
Yeah, and they
and they
can't go
stay in
nowhere else.
Houston, and
Yeah.
guess what? They're stuck in their old ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really about changing the environment
Yeah. It
you're in
has
that
nothing
makes
to
the
do
big
with like
difference.
That's why I said it can happen in any city, but
Yeah, man. We all see those shows of like the high school jock that
mhm,
never moved past it because he's stuck around the same people.
mm,
When you move, you don't have that option, man.
yeah,
No one gives a fuck how good you were at basketball because
at
guess what?
all.
Everyone was good at basketball,
Yeah,
right? Everyone was cold in their city,
yeah,
right? No one cares, that oh your family's this and that, and in Kenosha because
mhm,
guess what? Oh yeah, but my dad runs an oil and gas company, right? Like you'll get what's the word? Exposed. There we go. You'll get exposed to so many different facets of life
mhm,
that I'm telling you, you'll experience culture shock, like we keep saying. It's
yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, that I mean this like that's why I like the quote like your level of exposure will be your level of success. Like it's it's so true. The more you're exposed to, the more you'll know. And it's not even and it's not this is what I've come across like some of my younger guys, right? And they'll be like, not like teach me what you know, but like what have you learned, right? And it's not like this knowledge that I can just tell you. Like it's not a graspable knowledge. It's a recognition. I can't even explain it. It's like
You have to see it for
yeah,
yourself to
yeah,
believe
you
it.
literally do. And I just I hope that not that I wanted the reason I wanted to talk about this is not to, um, kind of shit on the person who hasn't left their city. That's not
Not at all.
that's not why I wanted to do this. The reason I wanted to do this is because um, I feel like that person is, everybody dreams, and to accomplish that dream, you got to get out of your comfort zone. And so I believe that that's the right step. Is just leave your comfort zone and find good counsel.
Yeah, man, for sure. Again, it's important that we're not shitting on anybody that's in this situation,
Mhm.
right? And so be it. If you like where you're at your hometown and that's what you're comfortable with and you feel like that's where you want to be, that's fine, man. We all have different
Yeah,
goals.
I just
But
won't be
if you
taking
really
advice
feel
from
like,
you.
yeah, if wait, what?
I said, "Yeah, I just won't be taking advice from you."
Yeah. But if you feel like if you want to achieve something and you feel like you're in a rut, I know it's scary and it might be hard depending on your financial, situation, but if you have the chance, get out of there.
Mhm.
Move somewhere different,
Yeah.
right? Go to Austin for a little bit. Live in Austin if you can afford it. Go to Dallas. Go to San Antonio. Go to Houston if you're in Texas, right? If you're in California somehow, right? Try to
Mhm.
go to LA. Spend some time in LA. Go to San Diego. Go to San Francisco. You'll be exposed to so many different ways of living
Mhm.
that it might inspire you to get out of that rut.
Yeah.
And in the end, who knows? Maybe you get there and you decide, nah, I think I understand what I want to do, but it's back home. And
Mhm.
you do that, right? I've had friends that left, didn't like where they were at, but realized they had an opportunity back home. They went back and now they're doing really well.
Yeah.
So it's just exposing yourself to that.
Mhm.
Because you'll be surprised what you think you're good at, you might not be good at all.
Yeah.
Right? What you think you know might be completely
Or
false.
not even that, like, you're just gonna learn things because there's a different way of doing things. Like, it's
Yeah, man.
man, I can't even explain to you the levels of knowledge I got just from being in a different place.
Yeah, man.
Um,
And same here. I've been in Houston for 5 years now,
mhm,
and I only go back every now and then to El Paso to visit, no more than 2 weeks at a time.
mhm,
But even being here 5 years, I still learn something new every day. Right? I meet somebody new. I see something different, and it's
mhm.
like, oh shit, that's something I never thought of,
Yeah.
or that's something I never knew, or
Mhm.
they had a way of thinking that I never even could imagine. Right?
Right. So just to, like, not cap it off, but, um so you coming from El Paso to Houston, right? And then you start this business. You started it pretty early on, right?
Yeah, I think my sophomore year, the summer going into my junior year.
Uh, what? Hold on, this is throwing up
2017.
my whole thing. So, oh, okay. This is where I have my confusion because you were working with an AAU team when I knew you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so just by leaving El Paso, right? In let's say the 2015 when we met, 2015,
Mhm.
2016, was was that do you think that Marcel would have been able to start the same business?
No. like I said, I had different ways of viewing life. I thought certain things about myself that were in the end incorrect and false. I had to reshape myself and my character.
Yeah.
The Marcel that came into Houston was arrogant.
Yeah, he was cocky.
Lazy. Yeah, he was cocky. He was cocky. He was cocky. He was lazy, and he thought he had it all figured out. I thought I was smarter than everybody. I thought I had the plan set. And then Houston, and I say this all the time, kicked my ass a few times to remind me you don't have shit figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a few years to learn, understand how Houston worked, how people in Houston, moved. Finally, in the end, I decided that the situation I was in was not beneficial for me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't give me the room to grow that I wanted. So I took a risk and I started this AU team with a business partner. That Marcel was, again, naive. I still had a lot of room to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and it took some time to kind of get it down packed.
Yeah.
But just taking that risk and being in this city, that kind of forces you to move, man. It's a competitive city. It's a business city.
Yeah.
So if you don't step up to the plate, you're gonna fall behind. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna fall through those cracks, and you're gonna be left out.
Mm-hmm.
So that forced me to take action and keep trying to progress. Again, I hit a couple road bumps where I thought I had it figured out, and Houston again said, "No, bro, you don't have shit figured out." So then now the current Marcel is just open to learn. I think I'm definitely more knowledgeable, but still have a lot of room for improvement, and I have a lot of room for growth in the coming future. So
yeah, I like that.
Figure that out soon.
Yeah, I think we should.
Ever.
I think we should do an episode on just how you started your business. Like literally, just take us step by step, like how you started and all the way up to the point where you're at now. I would enjoy learning from that. So.
Sure. I mean, I'm down. Yeah. I'll have to remember a few things because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, I mean, you did it, and something to be proud of. But yeah. Also, when I get up and going, I'm like, best believe I'm gonna throw an episode of, hey, this is how you gonna start. I've been writing it down.
How to make $1 million with every
Nah, everybody wants to be a millionaire, but there's some things that we got to learn first.
For sure, man.
And that's all I got for today. I feel like we hit the nail on the head. I feel like
let's just give a little wrap up then.
Yeah.
So we started the conversation off with finding good counsel. That just means finding people in your circle that will give you realistic but optimistic advice, right? Not someone that's just a yes man and hypes you up. Not someone that's negative.
Someone whose motive is not going to be for them. Their motive for their advice has to be for your best interest, not theirs. So you need to look deeper into why they're giving you that advice. And that's my best piece on when looking for good counsel.
Yeah, man, definitely look in your circle, analyze the people you're around, and really think, do you really want to be around those people? And again, we've talked about this before. You have different tribes for different things, right? Just figure out who's supposed to go in what tribe. And then another, conversation we just had about this was, one of the best options to do this and kind of start fresh is moving out of your hometown.
Yeah.
Go somewhere different, live there for a little bit, experience that tempo, experience how those people move, how that city functions, and you'll learn so much. And then from there, I feel like you'll have a different mindset to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree. Appreciate y'all for watching.
Again, like and subscribe. Help us out. Leave comments. Hop in the conversation if you want.
Hey, shout out to everybody on, just getting through this crazy, crazy time because,
yeah.
Hey, it's going to get better in a couple weeks.
We sure hope so. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Man.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.